In front of Nico's house stood a balete tree older than anyone in the village could remember. Its roots rose from the earth like walls, while its highest branches disappeared into the night. Some villagers believed trees this old were more than trees. They were gateways, places where our world touched another. And they said something lived among those branches, a KAPRE, a giant older than the village, perhaps older than the tree itself.
Never go out to the tree.
Children were warned never to approach the balete after dark, and never to shine a light into its canopy. Nico had heard the warning many times. He thought he was old enough to know better. To him, the KAPRE was only a story adults used to keep children inside after dark. Late that night, Atlas, Nico's German shepherd, heard something outside. Beyond the glass, the tree's hanging roots moved slowly. Though the air was completely still, the dog woke Nico. Nico listened. He heard something outside. He reached for his flashlight, gets out of his bed, and stops in front of the door. He should have called his parents. Instead, Nico decided to prove there was nothing outside. Nico followed the dog through the sleeping house and toward the veranda. He expected to find a stray animal or a branch moving in the wind. Anything except the creature the adults had warned him about. The balete stood directly in front of the house, so large it seemed to swallow the night behind it. The beam passed over roots thicker than Nico's body, then climbed the ancient trunk toward the branches above. At first he saw nothing, then something moved behind the leaves. A hand, far too large to belong to any man, closed around one of the branches. Nico and the dog stared upward. He and Atlas leave the veranda and walk towards the tree. The canopy bent beneath something enormous. Nico finally understood. His parents had been telling the truth. Nico falls down from the impact. Then a huge bare foot struck the soil. Atlas stepped between Nico and the giant. He instinctively protected his master and friend. Nico slowly raised his head and saw what had been watching him from the tree. Two ember-red eyes stared downward at Nico and the dog through tangled black hair. The KAPRE towered above them, taller than the roof of Nico's house. For a moment, it did nothing. It only watched. Atlas charged head-on. Nico watched his best friend get knocked to the side by the KAPRE's massive hand. He stared in fear and horror. Atlas tried to get up, but he was too weak. Nico was all alone now. The KAPRE began walking toward him. It did not hurry. Nico was so sure there was nothing to fear. He was wrong. The KAPRE's enormous hand reached toward the boy. Its cracked fingers spread wider as they came closer, until they covered everything Nico could see. At dawn, Atlas sat beneath the balete tree, staring into its branches. But Nico was gone. His parents and the villagers searched the house, the road, and every row of sugarcane. They called his name until darkness returned.
Nico!
They found no footprints leading away from the tree, no torn clothing, no trace of the boy. Some believed the KAPRE had carried Nico into the branches. Others believed the old balete had opened a doorway and closed it behind him. Every morning after that, the dog returned to the tree. It sat beneath the hanging roots, stared into the darkness, and listened, as though somewhere on the other side, Nico was still calling its name.